plan to turn an old power plant in Providence into an education center is going to be an expensive one. Mark Murphy, the editor of the Providence Business News, joins us now with more on that expense and what will come out of it all. There's a front page story in today's edition of the newspaper about that, and it includes kind of a cost breakdown, Mark, which we'll take a look at before we actually get into the meat of this. A $206 million total cost. $120 million for the power plant building itself, according to your article, and $86 million for the rest. That's a lot of shkarol, as we say.
Yeah, and the rest is important. The rest is a dormitory for students, the medical school, but also some of the nursing students. But generally, there's there's a need for graduate student housing and a parking garage, which will be for the building itself, as well as the medical school and whatever else is coming around there.
And we're looking at the building now, an ambitious plan for what was once going to be, I think they used to call it the Heritage Harbor Museum, but of course now the plans have changed for this education center to benefit all of these private and public universities.
Well, Brown actually, I think, is the kind of the reason this is getting going, because Brown is taking half of the space here for administrative offices. They're moving some administrative offices off College Hill because they want to really focus in the undergraduate teaching up on the hill. So they're moving people down there, and that gives the Advanced Nursing Center that's going to be combined from the Rhode Island College and University of Rhode Island. They didn't need the whole building. And so this way, you've got that private investment from Brown, and now you have the public sector taking in half of that building.
All right, so it's public universities for some of it, but not to confuse the audience or anger them even more. It's not a 38 studios or even a Superman building kind of project.
No, it's not. Actually, it's interesting that it's a private developer putting it together. So, the state is not having to do any bonding. I mean, all of the costs, the construction costs, are going to be contained in what are, lease payments. And so there are going to be some historic tax credits, actually, that are still connected to the building from the Heritage Harbor project, about $26 million worth of those. There are federal historic tax credits, probably about $50 million, and that's the extent of the public investment in this. And the rest of it will, like I said, will come from lease payments that then the developer himself will actually be then putting the money up front for construction.
There's much more about all of this because the formula does get a little complicated, and it's in this week's edition of the Providence Business News. And Mark Murphy, we thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Frank.